South East Queensland is in the grip of a flood emergency. Georgia Simpson joins us live from Queensland. Georgia, multiple emergency alerts have been issued overnight. What's the latest?
Well, Tim, Queensland Fire and Emergency Services responded to about 1,000 calls for help before midnight last night, and I'm sure that number will continue to climb today. Some parts of Queensland are entering their fourth day of extreme rainfall. We saw records smashed right across South East Queensland yesterday, and of particular note was just north of Biggerdon, which is west of Hervey Bay. A summer's worth of rain fell in just a few short hours. Multiple locations were put on emergency alert overnight for life-threatening flash flooding. And of note, there is Ipswich and the Gympie region. The Gympie region in particular, residents in low-lying areas were told to consider potentially evacuating their homes, and evacuation centres have been set up across Gympie. There were 50 calls for help for vehicle rescues across Brisbane just before midnight last night, and I'm sure that number will be much higher than that across the South East Queensland. Emergency services and authorities are growing increasingly frustrated with the amount of people who are choosing to ignore the advice, which is not to drive through floodwaters. The message is pretty simple. If it is flooded, forget it. On that note, Tim, there are hundreds of roads across South East Queensland that have been closed due to long-term and flash flooding. So the best advice there is to jump on your council website and to check your local disaster dashboard for the latest information. There's just far too many to name and to go through. The Logan River has been put on a flood alert, and it is expected to peak this morning at Bow Desert. Overall, though, Tim, this really intense heavy rain set in right across the southeast yesterday, and it just stayed stationary, absolutely hammering down. There are multiple weather warnings in place, pretty much from Hervey Bay in the north, out west past Toowoomba, and right down to the border into northern New South Wales. So basically the whole of southeast Queensland. Weather warnings in place for heavy to intense rainfall and damaging winds. Authorities are really asking people who don't need to be out and about to just reconsider their travel. If you don't need to be on the roads, then to stay home. Tim.
Thank you, Georgia.